Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a bit of an art tutorial, so it's a bit different than my other videos. So if you don't know me, I play guitar and I do some artwork. Alright, so we're going to start with the circle, and then later on with the video I'll show you a bit of use of everything and all of that. But for now, we're only going to be drawing a face. So I'm just doing this freehand, so you're more than welcome to follow along. Alright, so drawing the face, we see the face, the forehead has a circle to it, and then the jawline we also draw with a half circle, but a bit, we put an edge to it. So the ear, for instance, is also a bit of a squashed half circle, and then the hair we're also just gonna go around with it. Alright, so don't overthink this process. It's just for practice. Alright, so we're done with the face now. Just gonna move that aside. So next up is you can use the circle as like the main torso or the main body part of the creature or human or whatever you're trying to draw. Even doesn't have to be living. So yeah, I'm just creating a rib cage. I just drew it the wrong way. So we're using this now as our main component. So we're just gonna draw a line now for the spinal cord. So shapes, all shapes you need is I personally use is spears, triangle, and rectangle, obviously. Alright, and I also have like this leaf shape is also pretty handy, but we'll get later to that with the other tutorials. So here I'm just drawing the head also as a spear and the jaw. So we're just roughly lining this out. And like the skeletons of things is also pretty useful. Like learning a bit of how it works and anatomy and whys and so on. But you don't have to know everything. So just drawing the legs here now. This is like oval shapes, just a bit more rounded than the spear, a bit more squashed. And then the tails, it's just also just a curvy line. Alright, but we're gonna leave this as there. Alright, gonna move this along. Alright, and then like for the bottom legs, it's just more spears. Alright, so next is actually not a lot of, I don't see a lot of people using it. It's just like when you spiral things around or you create building blocks, I could say. Like using the same concept here, we're gonna draw like a mammal creature. Alright, so I'm just gonna use it, just gonna leave this as spears here. Right, but don't overthink this process, it's just get the spears down. Right, you can even just spiral it around and around and around until you get your like basic shapes. I think a lot of concept artists use that. Alright, you can see this around and around here. Right, again, don't overthink this. If you're doing this on paper, even better, try and not use the eraser. Alright, so done with the circles for now. We'll get on to the other shapes now. Just gonna move this around. Alright, so like I said previously, we have your triangle, your rectangle, and your spear. Alright, so these shapes you make like combinations of shapes until you get your final construction. So using this triangle, we're gonna actually take the face again, and we're gonna try and make the skull of it using the triangles, like sharper edges and all those things. Right, so I'm gonna over exaggerate the use of this. So we're just drawing this once again. Now you can see the jawline is also like a mini, like a triangle, like almost the shape, same size as the spear. Now I'm just using this like Google method for the eyes, just to get the eyes roughly now. We just wanted a bit more refined than the previous one. Alright, but this is by all means no final works, and don't usually see this type of works. This works people don't see. Alright, so you have the eyes there now. Now one thing about the eyes is just draw a line between them. Alright, so you know it's even. Oops, I moved that one again. Alright, so now we're using the corner of the eyes and just drawing like a mini rectangle out of it. Alright, it's like the sharp cheekbone. And then again, another triangle for like the middle of the eyes to get the nose location. And there we are, another triangle for the nose. It's a big nose. Alright, so now we're using the triangles again for like to get the brows right. Now this isn't as realistic as the human skull, but as long as you have like a clear shape, or you can recognize it's a skull or anything like that, you should be fine. But we're using triangle again here, or I'm trying to. Now you could do that probably if you're doing a creature, but we're just doing a human shape here. Alright, so now I'm drawing the triangles again to get the height of the brow, and triangles again underneath the eyes. So like that's probably going to be skin. Alright, so your eye sockets are a lot bigger as well on a skull, so this is probably more like a zombie thing. Alright, but we're just adjusting the scalp now. Alright, but we're not gonna make this perfect. So you're just gonna have to practice faces and anatomy if you want to get better at a certain thing. So, and if it's all that you do a day, it's fine. You don't need to do more. Like once you get it, it might take years, depending on where you are now. And then you'll just snap it one day. Right, so now we're just using rectangles as the jaw. We're getting the jaw here. Alright. There we are. So rectangles and squares, I guess. Right, yeah, and just try and figure this out. Just use your own thought and your own common sense to get this done. Right, so I'm gonna go back to the library and see if we can find triangles. Like here, for instance, we can see a lot of triangles here. Right, I'm going to say it now. Right, just pick a different color. Right, so for instance here, obviously at the face, we have the defenses of this creature. So if you can suggest a name for this creature, you're more than welcome to. Alright, so here we are. We're drawing the horns now. The horn, sorry. Alright, so now we're just using square here for the face. Just trying to get this so it's easier shapes for you guys. Alright, so we have like two squares there and another triangle at the bottom. Alright. Just gonna put something here so you guys can easier see it. Alright. Something like that. Alright, so for the torso and the fins, not a lot of triangles, so maybe if you take like the whole shape here and down at the belly, you can see a triangle. Alright, and I'm just going to draw a square there. Alright, the fins, I'm just going to use this as rough shapes. Now you can probably just split it up in three. Then you would have like a few triangles, and at the end you will have a triangle. Sorry, so a few rectangles, and at the end a few triangles. These fins I'm just roughing out as big triangle shapes. Yeah, and then another square for the tail maybe, and then end it with another rectangle. Alright, so there's the basic of it. Alright, it's just about getting that big shape style. Alright, so let's go here for instance. Now another thing is you can use it for shading as well. The triangles and the triangles is very nice for like hard edges. I see there isn't a lot of places I did this here, but let's go underneath the eyes, I guess. Yeah, definitely no places around here. But to take the eyes, I guess, and you can just make a triangle here. You can see it already brings out the eyes much more than I did it originally. And then, for instance, here underneath the cheekbones, we can see a clear triangle. Right. Just need to take a lighter color here. Then like things like anatomy and all that, we'll get to that then. I'll show you the shapes also I use for it. But again guys, it's not really about what you use. It's just about practice. Like here for instance, I just use boxes. Right now this is just a concept or like a storyboard. It's really not refined. I usually won't say this. But like for instance, you can see the boxes here I've used in the background. You can see the boxes a bit. Alright, but I did erase some of it. So I'm just taking like very random places to put it. And I did use a bit of perspective. But it just goes to say it's not really necessary. Like the older artworks, perspective was there, but it wasn't like today, like the knowledge we have today. But yeah, don't let your limitations limit you. Like if you don't know how to create perspective just yet, all that well, you can definitely get away without it. You don't have to know it 100%, right? Just use what you have. Like 1 point perspective is pretty good. I don't use a lot of perspective, like maybe 1 point perspective, and sometimes 2 point perspective. Alright, but I'll have different tutorials on that as well. But there's a lot of things on YouTube, so if you really want to get it done, just Google perspective and you'll find a video for it. Alright, so to end this off, we're just going to draw an eyeball. Alright, so this is just like 3 shapes, right? Three spears. Like 1, 2, and then 1 for the pupil. Alright. And I'll explain a bit of my process here as well. So I would have like this rough line art. Alright, and then it depends on the style I'm going for. I would either refine it more, or I'll just leave it as rough as is if I'm going for more painterly style. Alright, so we're just drawing in the things here. Alright, so don't be too specific about it. You can have some references up. It will probably look better than mine. But yeah, I'm just roughly shaping this out. Alright, so now using this video, we're using triangles here. Alright, so just go around the eye. Don't have to be precise or anything, but the smaller the better. Alright, I'll show you guys now that you can just blend it in and you'll get some pretty rough start with it. It's pretty decent start with it. With like the detail and swings if you use these shapes. But yeah, like getting detail on your fingers it's just gonna take time. There's no shortcut to it. But the layout or the block out of the things are much more important than all the little details you can't really see from a distance. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. Just take your smudge tool. You can make it small. Again, the smaller the better. But just for the sake of this video, we're just gonna go rough with it. Alright, just roughing out the edges here. As you can already see, that's almost where we want it. It's gonna make this middle spot a bit darker. Yeah, and it depends on your style also. Like real life doesn't really have hard edges. Alright, yeah, so we have like tabletops and things, you can see the hard edges, but organic things really don't have any hard edges to it. Alright. Like I'm just doing this with the brush. I know you can't see it really on the iPad, but just lightly like that. Just around the eye. Oh, you can go harder obviously, but the softer you go, the more control you have on it with the pen, like even with pencil. Alright, but again, if you're going for detail, you're gonna have to take your time with it. But I can't make a 2-hour long video just you watching me coloring this in. Alright, so we're just going to smudge all of this together now. Alright, so this is kind of my process. So I wouldn't do this on the line art. So I would create another layer, and then I would start smudging it, or I will copy the line art layer and then start smudging it, just so that I have the original line art. So just really smudging this all together now. Alright, so there we are. That's a basic eye. Okay, no shadows or anything here. Alright, you can take white and like maybe make a spot here and here, so we have a basic of where the light's coming from. Alright, so now for the shadows, I'll create another layer. Alright, and we're making a big brush now. Alright, obviously decreasing the opacity. Alright, could have probably gone bigger with the brush. It's fine, just get the rough shapes in. We're just gonna smudge it now. Alright, and you can see already there's your shading done. Well, almost. And another thing is not life isn't really, white isn't as white and black isn't black. Right, so it's not fully black or fully white. So yeah, the more values you have, the more detail you can get into it. Now I usually do it in color, the shading and everything, but just for the sake of the video, values are the more important part than color. To get your values right, you can use any color for it. Alright, so we're just going to put in a bit of detail. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about with the value. Alright, you can see there's your eye there, and then we have our basic shadows, and then just a highlight. Alright, so I'm just going to refine it a bit. You can see our light source is like coming from above here. Alright, something like that. Or actually, it's going to be a bit more in front. So something here, I would say. Yeah, that light's definitely a bit backwards. Alright, but again guys, it's just practice. But it is handy just to draw that little spear again with the circles, just to know where your light's coming from. Alright, so just gonna refine it a bit. Alright, so you can notice I took the lightest color here and just made it a teeny tiny little bit lighter. And now we're just roughly filling out the detail of it. Alright. It obviously has a lot more blood running through the eyes, but it's not necessary. It's just for you to get the practice in now, or maybe the process of it. Right? You can see as the light comes closer, we are losing detail. Right now, the same is true for the shadows. But it's just the eyes are like a wet surface, so it will reflect the light up until the end almost. Now, obviously, it won't reflect it this much as I'm drawing here. Alright, but it is showing the shadows in there, so you can see actually the veins running through. Alright, so yeah, this is it. Just take your time with the eyes. If you're doing this on paper, you can probably use like those little, what they call it, like this white stick. You get to smudge it. Like your fingers is alright, but those sticks definitely is a bit better. Alright, so yeah, just make it just make it look nice. Alright, now I'm just blending in these line art. Alright, because like I said, you don't really see that in life. Alright, and like the eyeballs itself is going to be wide around it, so can't really have a lot of darkness there. Otherwise it's going to look too much 3D. Now the eyes itself is 3D. Your like your color and your pupil actually stands out like that. But you don't want to exaggerate it too much. Right. This smudging this again. Right, like smudge tool is very handy. You don't have to shade everything as much. Alright. So yeah, I think that's that. You can see the difference there. Alright. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please let me know if you're interested in more, and I'll catch you on the flip side.